Hello everyone, I'm Mario from Christopher Stokes and today we are joined by a special guest, Peter from Chexs.
Hello everybody and thanks for having me.
Hello Peter or Pete, which one we going with?
Peter if you're telling me off, or Pete if it's like,
Let's go with Pete. I'm not your mother.
No, you're not, thankfully.
Chexs Foundation, local, been around for a while?
Yeah, I set Chexs up in 2010 and it started to deliver the services in September 2011. So coming into our 15th year of what we do and how we go about it, yeah, it's been a baptism of fire and it's gone over really quickly.
What does Chexs stand for something?
It does, it stands for its values. It's about community, homes, enrichment, extra mile and support, bit of a tongue twister, but it's all about what is a community. Homes make up communities. It's that entity and then the enrichment. It's about what we can do for a child or a young person. Extra mile, we go the extra mile. When you're in the forest every day in February and it's cold and it's wet and you're taking 10 lads out there, it's quite difficult at times and you're going to have to do it. You've got to go the extra mile. Yeah. Our family support, we go to where the families want us to go to. We don't expect them to come to us. And support. And
you said running 15 years now?
It has been running for 15 years.
And who is it, just yourself or have you got a team or?
It came up from, I was working at Turnford School, just round the corner, which is now Hailbury Turnford. And my boss at the time, Joe Gant, was the head teacher there. I was also part of Turnford. I did a thing called Extended Schools. I was managing the sports centre, the swimming pool, and I was also doing to the teaching element that I was doing in the city. And I said to Joe, I'd like to set up a charity to help support children more. I feel as though we could do more as a charitable arm. A little bit of context, I'm dyslexic. I had a bit of a checkered history at school. People couldn't understand why I couldn't spell my name. My name's Pete, I wrote Deet. Okay. And people categorised me as not being the cleverest of sparks. But I had a skill set and everyone's got an opportunity, if they have those opportunities, to find their calling. And for me, fortunately enough, I got into the Royal Navy by the skin of my teeth, and the Navy started to focus on what I could do instead of what I couldn't, and I guess the rest is history. Okay. Unfortunately, I got injured in Bosnia. I fell in a manhole taking a group of blokes for a run, and I got medical discharged, and I then, what's my meaning and purpose? Fortunately for me, my last 2 years in the Navy, I worked for a director of Nova Recruitment in the city for a charity called London Youth. And it really broadened my horizon about what my skill sets were and what I really enjoyed doing, which was working with youngsters. And I then started teaching at Islington Green School, and Eileen Griffin, the deputy head at the time, said, Pete, you could be the tutor for some challenging lads who are awesome, just need a little bit of guidance. I did that for 5 years, and it was just, I cut my cloth there. I understood how I could help and support, and it's all about creating the environment and focusing on what they are able to do. Now, I say it a lot of times, but if someone can pull a wheelie on their bike for 20 minutes, they're really talented. Can you pull a wheelie on your bike for 20 minutes? I know I can't. And the skills and the resilience and the determination and the repetitiveness they've got to do it, it's the same as studying for your maths. But someone enjoys maths, they enjoy doing something differently. And what we do as the charity is give them the opportunities to use those skills in a positive reinforcement.
So Pete, going back, you said you were dyslexic. You went to school locally yourself, or?
No, as you can tell by my accent.
I was thinking. I didn't want to say it.
No.
Okay.
I was born in Liverpool, and my parents moved to Wigan when I was 3.
Okay.
I left home. I started the process to join the Navy at 15, and I think that's probably where the chief of the careers office, Mr. Trainer, my PE teacher, allowed me to leave school. It was 2 buses to get to St Helens recruitment office. Okay. And I think he could probably see something in this young lad that had the eye of the tiger.
Yeah.
But the assessment for numeracy and literacy, 0-0.
This was at 15?
This was at 15, so setting the exam at 15. 0-0 is maths and English grade C in GCSE. Yeah. And then they have their own internal mechanism. So 1 is the highest score internally, to 9 being the end of the Richter scale. Yeah. And my assessment that the Navy had assessed me at with my competence in maths and English was 9-9. So I was at the end of the spectrum. And so it was like really, I was fortunate to get in, I think. Okay. I think somebody saw something in me, not just around maths and English.
So 9 and 9 was the
lowest, yes.
So someone listening now GCSEs, 9 and 9. If you're getting 9s now in GCSEs, you're flying, right?
They start completely, yeah, it's the opposite to
It's
that.
the opposite to that,
Yeah.
okay. So, Chexs, exactly, who do you help? When you say you help young children, what do you help them with? What support and help do you give?
Well, we work with clusters of schools, and where something's not sitting right, it's not safeguarding, it's not acute care, it's not specialist support. It's just something that's not sitting right with a teacher or a pastoral spot or a parent. And what we're able to do is look beyond academia and attainment within the school spectrum. It's like looking as that individual and what do they possess as their own entity, is what's my meaning, what's my purpose. Okay. And within that we have a framework, and that links to meaning and purpose. It's about resilience. What is resilience? Well, it's about being here in all weathers, working with adults, working together. We're going to have failure. Failure's not a problem, it's something to embrace. We all fail. How we pick ourselves up about it. And then aspirations, and where we're now talking now, it's quite...
So is it more behavioural than financial?
No, it's not behavioural. People might be having characteristics of behaviour, but it's about self-esteem, their self-worth.
What I mean is, sorry, so maybe you're dealing more with the person and the individual, as opposed to like people that haven't got the money, or there's some other charities that support kids financially, but you're dealing more with a child, like you said, that maybe doesn't quite get on with school or
100%.
teachers. Right, okay.
The element of poverty has an underlying characteristic for lots of people. Now, the people that work with Chexs aren't in poverty, but with poverty create barriers for opportunities. And what we're doing is we're hopefully giving the opportunities of children that not necessarily would have been able to access the ability to work in a team, to gain leadership skills, problem solving skills. Yeah. That's very acute to other areas, and it's making them feel that, yes, I can achieve, yes, I have got a purpose. And it's not a flash in the pan, it's over a 30-week period of time where we can work with each other, and that's the essence of it. And the last bit of the framework, it's about having expectations. Expectations on yourself, that I'm going to come on time, I'm going to have a smile on my face, it's cold, it's wet, but we're going to crack on and do it together. And then the expectations about how we're going to do that together. Yeah. And it works, because we've now got children that were on our programme back in 2012, 13, 14, who are now men and women who can articulate what they were doing. And I'm at the Theobald's Business Centre, and there are two entrepreneurs that are based in there, run their own businesses, Louis and Muzz, who were working with Chexs 15 years ago. Right. And that's the essence of what it is. It's creating opportunities for children and young people to feel good about themselves. But the other element to Chexs, it's about family support as well. When I was in London and Islington, it was quite clear that you can have a really good relationship eventually with a young person once you've gone through the barriers. They know that they're in it for the right reasons and you've got the back. How can you be getting someone to do this, this and this, and then at home or in the estate they're not doing this? And it's like, you've got to work with the parent, the guardian, the carer, the foster carer, whoever it is within their home, to enable you to move forward in a positive way.
Okay. So you started Chexs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started Chexs. There's a lady called Julie who was an LTA at Turnford and Kerry. Sort of come on board. They left their teaching roles and joined the charity, and we went from strength to strength, really. It's been a baptism of fire. Lots of learning. I didn't leave the Navy I didn't want to leave the Navy. I was medical discharged. I didn't set up to say I want to set up a charity. It's just happened, and lots of trials and tribulations, and we've got a team of about 15 staff that deliver support, and roughly around 660 children and young people are supported every year.
How many people, sorry? 15?
Got 15 staff and volunteers.
Employed?
Yes.
Okay.
And we work and support around 400 parents per year.
And how does funding, is it government funded, or is it you raise funds, or you're paid by the schools, or...?
Not government is like from county or regional government. Our services are supported by our cluster of schools. They pay around 30% of our turnover.
The schools do?
The schools
okay.
do. And then the other percentages, it's trusts and foundations. So we currently got Children in Need, we've got Henry Smith, we've got the Lottery, which are multi-year funders, and they're really important. And it's a real strength for Chexs, because those foundations support charities that have got the data and they can show the difference being made. It's like a kite mark for us, because we do what we say we're going to do, and hence why they want to back it. We have another pillar, so we have 4 pillars. We have social enterprise, which is schools or housing associations and health. We have pillar 2, which is all around trust and foundations. Pillar 3 is business and how we can support businesses with their CSR and work collaboratively together. And our pillar 4 is about fundraising and donations.
What sort of fundraising and donations have happened recently or upcoming?
Upcoming, we have a galaxy of them. So we had our family day at the Easter Trail at Cedars Park at Easter in March.
Yeah.
Had around about 1,500 parents and children coming together. In fact, we have our flagship event at Grundy Park next Saturday, on Saturday the 4th of July, 12 till 4, sorry. That's our 18th year of doing that.
So Saturday, 4th of July at
Grundy Park, next to the Laura Trot.
Okay.
And it's 18th year. It's amazing. Yeah. And if the weather's half decent, we'll have lots of families coming together. We pay for the bouncy castles and the climbing walls.
As I say, what can we come and see?
Yeah, we get a wristband, and then the children can go on it all collectively for as long as they want with a £5 wristband. So it's really heavily subsidised. But it's about bringing communities together. There's a lot of polarisation at the moment, and we've all got values that can alienate us. And what we do with Chexs, we've got values that can connect us. And what we try to do is how we can all support each other and come together to celebrate the amazing communities that we live in.
Okay. So, obviously there's a lot of challenges out there these days for local young people and the families. What's some of the biggest ones you maybe see on a sort of daily, weekly basis?
Well, firstly, with children and young people, it's like, where do I fit in life? If you're in a class of 30 in primary and you're listening to people getting on with maths or English, and you're thinking to yourself, I'm really struggling with the maths, I'm really struggling with the English, what am I all about? I think peer-on-peer support, everyone has to appreciate each other's strengths. And I think over the last so many years, since 2011, there's been such a focus on attainment and standards, which is so important. But there's also got to be about inclusivity and enrichment and what we all bring to the table. Yeah. And the new white paper on education is going to hopefully bring that back in, where everyone's got something to offer. You've just got to give them the opportunity to showcase what they're good at. And I feel as though anxiety and people's self-worth, it's really important that all young people are given the opportunities to invest and see what they can do and what they can bring to the table.
But social media can't help this, right? Because everyone's comparing non-stop against someone else, right? You know, they say comparison is almost a thief of joy.
Oh, completely.
And that's, you know, you see a lot of people comparing against that kid, and they're always trying to be something that maybe they're not. How do you...
But that's down to self-esteem.
Okay.
And it's about how you feel about yourself. And if you're judging someone because they're portraying themselves on a platform and you're perceiving it that way, well, you're going to go down a rabbit hole. What you've got to try to do is work with that young person to feel the belief about themselves. And that's not something that's going to happen overnight. And over time, you can create a trusted relationship. And vulnerability is a good strength. And with the teams that we've got, working with young people continuously, you can chip away at it. It's amazing what conversations you create when you create a platform of doing something like cropping in a tree or making a willow sculpture or doing some raised beds. Whereas we're talking to each other face to face, it can be quite difficult to articulate what you're talking about. Yeah. If you're not looking at somebody and you're actually doing something, you can go into so many different conversations and just unpick what the anxieties and the needs of that child are. And over time, the self-worth of who they are, they're not having to compare themselves. And it's, you can't do that, but you can do that. And it's about chipping away. So yes, there's a sphere of influence of social media, but there's so many other parameters that are all influencing it. It's not just social media, it's not just attendance, it's not just belonging, it's all of it complexities together. And what you've got to try to do is create the environment for a child or a young person to feel self-worth. Yeah.
And times have changed, right? Because you mentioned you had dyslexia, but you've got all sorts of, you've got ADHD now, you've got autism, you've got a lot of labels now that maybe weren't around as much 30, 40 years ago. Does that play a part in...
Yes, I think...
Is there a correlation?
what you've got to look at is that people need the resources and the know-how to help them. And if you've got the resources to help children stay in mainstream, because I'm dyslexic and I struggle with English, doesn't mean I need to be special educated. You know, I had strengths and you know, it was where my class would be doing a play and Mrs. Schofield, they'd be saying, right, go and see Mrs. Schofield now and practice your spellings, Pete, because you can't spell and read. Off you go, and you leave the classroom. Yeah. It's not that I needed to go to a special school, I just needed resources inside the school to help me. Yeah. And when you look at the HCP, yes, there are children that have got complex needs that need to go to special provisions, but there's also a lot of children that if the school had the assets and the resources and the time, they would be able to cater for those children within school, and that's what Chexs helps with. We're a small strategy and a bigger strategy. Okay. So there are lots more diagnoses now, which is on the SEND, on the neurodiverse spectrum, which is good because you can then understand, why can't I see a B and a D? Well, I can't see a B and a D or an I and an E because I'm dyslexic. It's not a problem. But then you then start to focus on what you can do, and that's the key. If you look at 100 children that needed counselling, you actually unpick it, there's going to be maybe 10 children with entrenched trauma that really need that counselling to unpick things. The other children upstream to given opportunities and resources to help support them in those areas, they wouldn't need to have that. Yeah. And that's the approach that we need to try to look for. The other element you said about what we're seeing is family support and anxiety with parent element to it. Now, obviously, from the back of COVID, then coming into austerity, and then obviously the cost of living crisis, there are lots of parents now that are really struggling financially. And there are lots of parents now that are struggling, that are maxing out the credit cards, who are trying to keep the head above the parapet, who are struggling, and all it takes is a slight something in their system and their family to send them downwards. And it's really precarious. And in 20 odd years I've been working in these environments, I've never seen it so precarious. And what we've got to try to do is give people the tools and the support. That anxiety, what's keeping people awake at night, is being able to have a safe space to be vulnerable and to talk to someone, try and offload, to get different perspectives, rationalise things differently, and then access the support that's out there. Yeah. And it's more and more happening. You
mentioned earlier about a couple of young men at the Theobald's Enterprise Centre that worked there, you worked with many years ago. Give us a couple of your favourite success stories over the last 50. I'm sure there's plenty, by the way. There's probably hundreds and thousands.
Well, we're just actually doing that. We're advertising.
Tell us a couple.
It's just gone out now, actually. We're calling out, if you've worked with Chexs over the last 15 years, if you want to come and let us know what you're up to.
Okay.
One story, it's not a story, it's a life. Yeah, and I think what we've got to unpick is that it's about people's lives and not silos and systems, whether it's housing, education. And the big thing at the moment is about prevention and early help, and what are they? And it's about building a relationship before they escalate. So there's a guy called Richard. I'm on LinkedIn, and he sort of got in touch with us about this time last year. Richard was on Chexs at Turnford back in 2015. Okay. And you know, his dad was bringing up 3 children. They were in shelter. They were in a bed sit. He was really struggling, but he's just a really great guy. So articulate, so intelligent. But he was, you know, with his life that was around him, and we gave him the opportunities to focus on what he could do and to build his confidence. And you know, he's come back subsequently and spoken quite really articulately. We had an event last year where he had made everyone was crying, including myself, about his reflections. And I don't want to speak for him, and I don't want to make it sound as though I'm trying to glorify someone's life, because that's not the case. It's about sincerity here. But there are lots of young people who are able to articulate by what we did with them, walking alongside them, not to them, and empowering them to be the best person they could possibly be, and seeing the qualities and the difference that we can see in them. They may not see it themselves. So you can do it. And it's about giving people proper aspirations. I'm not going to say to the lad, oh, by the way, you're great at running, you can definitely beat Usain Bolt's time. It's got to be realistic. Yeah. But you can make your own personal bests. And over those journeys, there's lots of young people that you're now seeing, you're thinking, wow, it's just incredible to do that, because they believe in themselves.
And So you mentioned Richard. Any others that you
there's
jump out?
there are, but I don't want to. I hear on film and mention this name and that name, and it's playing out, and I'm trying to glorify.
Don't have a name. Don't put a name on it. Just put a story behind it.
The stories behind it. It's like people who can see austerity in their lives about what they were doing, that they were standing at a gateway, metaphorically, about which direction they could go, and then they were they were signed on to Chexs. They could go down some certain paths, and then they were out with us. There was a little bit of friction about, it's cold, it's wet. I'm not telling you to stop chewing gum and put your school blazer on. I'm asking you to wear a hard hat and glasses. And there was a little bit of a frack up, which is, young people. And then when they realise and understand it, and then that conversation, when they're then articulating back, I'm now doing what I'm doing because of what you said and how you were, and you were consistent for a long period of time, and I could rely on you, and I could be supported by you, and I could be vulnerable with you, and I could see what my strengths were, and now I'm doing this and I've got my own business here. That is what it's all about.
So it's clear, I'm probably not going to articulate this well enough, but children can beat a system, they can beat a phase of their life, they can overcome things, but they just need the right help, support. Maybe someone to believe in them sometimes.
Bingo. You got the name. Believe in them, and you've got to want to genuinely help. Chexs' values is extra mile. You've got to go the extra mile. You've got to have the sincerity about you genuinely want to help them. It's very difficult what we do in the charity. And it's tiring, and it's wet, and it's cold. You've got to sense that a young person has got to sense that you genuinely want to be there with them, and that you're going through a bit of difficulty. You want a cup of tea and a break. You're getting frustrated, and a bead of sweat's coming down your head because you're failing at it, and you're asking for them for help. And as soon as you get that relationship where it's not them and us, and it's collectiveness, and about how we can work together, and what are the life skills that I'm working here. Next week we've got this amazing event called Planting Seeds, where I'm part of a business network called BNI, it's Synergy in Hartford. And we've got the SMEs in there coming into one of our local secondary schools to be in groups of year 10.
So SMEs, small, medium,
yeah.
For those that might be.
Sorry, and it's not a careers fair where you've got the Airbus and the Navy and the college there. This is entrepreneurial men and women looking at somebody in year 10 and saying, I did this at school, this was happening to me, I'm now an electrician like Quaid, or I'm HR wife Hannah, or Jack who's in insurance, and saying, these are the things that I struggled with at school, this is what I had to overcome, and these are the qualities that I want to see in a young person coming into our employment. It's the qualities are just as important as the skills. We can teach you the skills, it's the qualities as you as a person. And for those young people to think, you know what, I can do that.
Yeah.
And that is what it's about. It's about motivating and making people realise that you've all got something to offer.
Well, had I known about it sooner, I might have put my name down, volunteered.
There'll always be a next time.
Next time. Keep me in mind. Okay, so look, good journey to date, but we haven't finished it with Chexs, have we?
No.
So, what are the goals for the next 5 years? How do you see Chexs growing, developing, or being in the next 5 years? Or is it just more of the same?
Culture. The culture's got to remain at the heartbeat of the charity. Got to be in it for the right reasons, and the people that are part of it all have that vision about why we're doing it. From my perspective, it's creating systems in place that we can be sustainable, and we can develop, and we can scale, and we can support more children and young people. And our approach around early help and prevention, it's not rocket science, but how it can be adapted to either a health perspective or a housing perspective, because they're all different silos. You might call them a patient, a parent, a tenant, a resident, but they're a human being. And all of those different silos collectively have a different interface with the person. So with Chexs' 5-10 year plan, it's about creating a sustainable structure that everybody believes in what we do, and that everybody that comes into Chexs understands the essence of the culture of the charity.
As in staff?
Yes, and the volunteers and what we do and how we do it.
If someone's watching and they were thinking, that sounds like something, what qualities, qualifications, attributes might you be looking at when you're employing?
Someone who's got an enthusiasm and a passion to want to help and to want to be part of that.
And is it only children?
No.
I was going to ask, is it what age?
So
Does this
Chexs
span
has two predominant services. We have family support, which is for parent support,
So for
home support, and we have a team that's a children and young people team, but them collectively working together.
Okay.
And for anybody that wants to volunteer, there's an array of things that we do. All of the projects anybody can access, and we can help do with our safeguard and all the rest of the training and the prerequisites that we need to come in and to be supportive of that. But from my perspective, we are going to start an apprenticeship in September for young people to become youth workers within Chexs.
Right.
Because what I would love to see is that someone's coming through that could be leading Chexs in 10, 15 years' time. But we've got a really strong structure now. I've really spent a lot of time and effort building a team that has the leadership and the know-how and the wanting and the purpose and the passion. Last year we recruited a lady called Liz Allen, who was an assistant head at the secondary school. She's also a Senko. She's now our chief operating officer.
Oh, wow.
So she's the overseeing of the operational delivery. A lady called Simone, who started off of administration 7 years ago to fit with her life, with her twins, who's now our growth and communications manager. And it's like people who've got a vested passion of the charity and where they believe it should be going, because we're all part of the vision. It's about helping someone feel good about themselves and taking those anxieties that keep people awake at night. It's not rocket science, generally there, and it's like we go to people, they don't come to us, we're not patronising and condescending, and that lived experience about what we do and how we do it is the key. And for Chexs, it's about making sure that the people within Chexs have that same culture and drive. Obviously finances and all the rest of the stuff, it's a precarious landscape, and it will always be that way. It's no different when I set Chexs up in 2011 about funding streams and turnover and surplus and deficit and our end of year accounts and insurances and all of the other fragments of running a business, because a charity is a business. In the end of the day, it has the same systems. It's just yours is profit and loss, ours is surplus and deficit, and that is really difficult. It gives me the acid reflux, accounts and money and but it's about the people that are part of the charity, from the board and the team, really wanting to do it.
Where do you cover, Pete? Where do you go from to?
So our homeland is here, so it's outsourced at the pond. So you look at Turnford, Wormley, and go south to Waltham Cross, over the A10 up to basically Gough Soak. That's our geographical location. It's very labour intensive what we do. When we've got so
you're not going to Enfield or Hoddesdon or...
No.
You're pretty much within that vicinity.
It's here. It's labour intensive, and we've got to be able to do what we say we're going to do. We can't be sitting in a bus for 30, 40 minutes with a group of lads to go off and do some community habitat, and that's the beauty of Lee Valley and those areas. And we would want to do that, but it is costly to how Chexs runs. It's cheap as chips when you look at a statutory service and the impact and the difference we're making, but there's still quite big overheads, and we've got to make sure our ratios remain 1:6. We're working with young people, and that system that we've created since 2011 is working. We're not going to say, okay, we can work now with 15 children with 2 of our staff. Why it works is how we've created it, and not to change that fabric.
So from the people watching this conversation, who should be reaching out as maybe if they need to, should people reach directly out if they need help? Who should be watching this, or is it mainly through the schools, or who should maybe be watching this and think, do you know what, I need to reach out to this people?
I think there are two things, a couple of things here. One is that what our approach isn't rocket science. If you can create an environment where people can feel good about themselves, and you've got meaning and purpose and a beginning, a middle and end on things for children to get their teeth into, you could mirror this in all over the place, as long as you've got the staff who genuinely want to do it. From our side of things, we want to work more businesses, hence why I'm part of the B&I Synergy Hertford. Okay. It's about breaking down the barriers and the preconceptions of what we do. The CSR or corporate social responsibility all of the time, but it's like, we don't work with parents that are on the take. We work with parents that need support, and everyone has adversity in their life, and someone needs a helping hand at times. We are hopefully that helping hand. We don't work with naughty kids, point blank. We work with children that just need help and support, and it might be a little bit fruitful with the language, as I was when I was at school. Yeah. Or there might be someone who's a shrinking violet, has got no confidence to put the hand up in class. Both of them are not helping them to prosper and to find their niche. all we're doing is creating the opportunities with support of schools, and we're not the be-all and end-all. Schools use us as a small strategy within their big strategy about we can help support a group of youngsters. You know, we're currently working with only 15% of the kids we could work with just alone in this area.
Right.
And that's why we don't go to Stevenage, even though we've been asked, or go to Watford, even though we've been asked, because we don't want to stretch ourselves, because we then become nil and void.
And which, you said businesses, which businesses do you want to...
All businesses.
So give me an example of a business, like not naming a business, but a type of business.
Well, we've got two ends of the spectrum. We've got a couple ends of the spectrum. One, we've got Google, the data centre that supports us, and we've got a thing called computer science where all the primary school children, the schools nominate 5 children, they go there every Friday to the Theobald Centre and they do computer science, they do robotics and coding. It's amazing. And it's working with a group of children that we would never have normally worked with, which is awesome. And that's funded by Google, and and they've helped us with our intergeneration, they've helped us with our My Life, supporting boys about the choices that they need to make in life and how they perceive things. We've then got like Ashbourne Insurance, who are incredible with their charity of the year. They've just done another golf day for us. They generated £5,000 of their fundraising, which was like massively important for Chexs. And then we've got like the small SMEs like within B&I who come in next week for the planting seeds for them to personally talk about their experiences of what they did in school and who they are today. Okay. All of the spectrums of a small or a medium or a large. It's about why they would want to do it. It's about giving back to the communities, because at the end of the day, your workforce are the same people that we're working with. Okay. You know, we're constantly finding, when I'm going through my network events, that, oh, by the way, you're working with my daughter, you're working with my son. It's like, it's brilliant to hear and see.
And for someone who's looking to start a charity, and we know that we've done some interviews and there are some, there's quite a few, some fabulous local charities around here. Yours included, obviously. What's the top 5 tips for someone who might be looking to start a charity?
Top 5 tips. Purpose and passion. What is it you want to do? Why are you doing it?
Because you're not going to make shed loads of money, basically.
You're not doing it for money,
If
you're doing it for money, you're doing it for whatever reasons other than you want to make a difference in something. You're in it for the wrong reasons.
So purpose and passion.
Yeah, I'd say make sure that you have people that you can find in and you can talk to and get advice, so you don't make mistakes that necessarily somebody else could have made, and you can learn from them. I would say try and get a framework with yourself about how you implement HR and safeguarding and business planning and management accounts and forecasting and all of those elements to it. So you've got HR. I'd definitely try to find that you've got someone that can really support you financially. Get a really person that's really strong in accountancy, so it can help you navigate that. And then the culture of the charity is why you're doing it and why will people buy into that charity. You know, some charities are maybe cancer related or Alzheimer's, people can associate straight away of what they're doing to help with that cause. With someone like Chexs, we work with children. It's about, what's that mean? You know, what does Chexs do again? You work with families. You know, you work not. It's like it's sometimes it's difficult to articulate what we're trying to do for a child or a young person or a parent, and people come with conscious or unconscious biases. So it's making sure you've got a clear vision, a clear mission, and the direction of that.
Do you get together quite regularly with your team to? You mentioned, because you've mentioned culture a few times. You've mentioned like team fit and why they do it. Do you get together quite regularly with your team? Or?
Yeah, we had a theory of change in 2019, which was a really important thing. In 2018, we failed an interview with Henry Smith, and it was a final interview for a large amount of money, and we failed it, and the feedback was incredible, very raw, but we implemented it all because it was great critical friend.
What was the biggest reason?
Me. I was the problem. Everything was gatekeep through me, and it's about making sure that you had proper governance, that were holding everything to account. If I was to fall under a bus, what would happen to it? Sustainability, succession planning, proper structures, proper governance, proper leadership, proper management, and all of the other shenanigans that go with it. And we've implemented that, and it's not codependent on me. So we then did a goal setting day in 2023. And we're constantly reviewing it about the vision, and we're about to embark on another session in September again with the team about this is a vision and this is what's our 10-year plan now.
Okay.
Because everyone needs to be able to understand what we're heading and why we're doing what we're doing.
Well, look, Peter, appreciate your time, but 4th of July, if anyone's around.
Yes, at our family day at Grundy Park.
Family day, Grundy Park. Keep up the good work, Peter. It seems like you're doing a lot. And yeah, I fully understand how I think some people in life just need that chance and someone to believe in them. It sounds like you're doing a great job, and it's from your own personal experiences, so you're feeling it.
Yeah, it's purpose and passion. Everyone's got a niche, and it's just creating those up. I keep saying opportunity, but I'm so believer in it. You know, let's not focus on what you can't do, let's focus on what you can do. And the people that I work with within Chexs are just awesome. You know, it's just an inspiring thing to hear the stories and what they do and how they do things now. It's just like, wow, that's amazing. You know, we got Jack, who's one of our children, young people workers. We had My Life that he just created. And he took the My Life lads to one of our intergeneration groups at Hills, just outside of Cuffley. Yeah. And the next minute they're doing karaoke with senior citizens and the group of lads. And it's like, you know, I never did that when I was doing what you did, Jack. And it's like the way that you're evolving it and you're seeing things. And like got Jen, our family lead, you know, she's done a thing called Parent Unplugged. We have like hundreds of parents now coming to our workshops to listen about how they can get support filling in the HCP and send. And it's like that momentum and that innovation, it's just like, wow. It's like, it's there and it's nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
And it's that ownership, because we're all part of it. And that's what I'm most proud of.
I'm sure you'll keep growing and keep doing the job you're doing. And thank you for your time today.
And thank you for the opportunity. It's been
no worries. Thanks.